my little helper. This is Louie, and if you've not come across him yet on my blog or YouTube channel, I'm sure that you will, because whenever I'm home and doing a project or planting or sowing, he's got to be in the middle of things. And his sister is running around here too. I can spot her just over there. And so I've got no doubt that she'll be popping up here before long. So what I'm doing today is I'm not going to be working out in the allotment garden. I've got something really important I need to do inside, and that is preparing for the annual seed swap and plant share that I organize here on the Isle of Man. And the idea is that you come in, it's totally free to enter, you just bring in your extra seeds and plants, put them on the table, and there's little areas where you can organize them into, and then you just take what you need. And it has been fantastically popular, and this is, I think, the 7th year, or is it the 8th? It's hard to keep count, but it keeps on getting bigger and better every single year, and we have a lot of the same people who come in March or April of each year, stock up on seeds that they need for the year, share what they've also picked up or won't need. And that way the seeds get used, because you know, we as gardeners, I mean, looking through my seeds right now, we pick up a lot of things that we don't need, or there's just too many seeds or plants, you know, within the packet or the set that we purchase. So putting together the event, it helps to get these seeds in the ground. And it's a benefit for them, so they get to grow, and for all of us gardeners, because we get to save a lot of money. So this is how I organize my seeds. So it's in a plastic bin, keeps out moisture. I've got some sachets in here in the back, so some silica gel thingies that I've picked up from some packaging to help keep moisture out. And then I have them separated by sowing time. So I've got seeds to sow in February, and then March, which you see there's quite a bit more. April, a very busy month for sowing, and then May onwards. And what happens if I've got seeds that can be sown all the year round, I'll put them in February first, and then when February is over, I'll move that seed packet back, and then it'll keep moving back as I go along. So it's a pretty simple method, and I keep all my seeds in here, or they are supposed to all be in here, and that makes it really easy for me to plan out my sowing and also to organize them for the seed swap. So let me just have a look through here, and then I will fast forward it, and we'll have a look to see what I'm gonna sow in a little bit, and then also some of the seeds that I'm going to be giving away tomorrow. Well, it's taken me quite a bit of time, but I've gone through all of my seeds, and I've made some really tough decisions on what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to give away, and also making some decisions as to what I'm going to keep an eye out for tomorrow. Now, I've organized my seeds into 3 different areas. So first of all, these are the seeds I'm giving away tomorrow at the seed swap, and there's a lot of seeds in here. So there's everything from lettuces and greens to onions to, I don't know, pumpkins, everything that you can think of, herbs, flowers. And also I've got some New Zealand yams that I'll be giving away tomorrow. So these are also called oca. And some of these I've actually picked up in years past, within like the last year or two of the seed swaps, and I just held on to them, and I haven't really used them, or I've only used a little bit of them, and I'm taking them back. Some of them, they're seed packets that have had far too many seeds in them that I definitely won't use. And I'll be honest, a lot of them are expired, and I think that's something really important that I need to point out, is that if you have seeds that are expired, don't throw them away. They're still good. The germination rate might be a little bit lower, but a lot of them will still grow. So don't put them in the bin, use them up or pass them on, make sure they don't go to waste. In the bin are all the seeds that I've decided to keep, but I'm not going to be sowing right away, so there's seeds in here that I'll be sowing within the next week or two. In March, also everything from April, and I've got quite a few seeds that need to be sown from May onwards, some of them as late as August, so they're all back here. Now here in front of me I've got some seeds that I'm going to sow today, and they include some sweet peas. Now I've already started growing these. They are a type called Lady Salisbury. Last November I put them in, and we'll go have a look at them in the greenhouse just now. These ones are just a really cheapy sweet pea, a Spencer mix, so standard kind of type that I got from a discount shop here on the island for I think £1.20, and I grew them last year and I'm pretty impressed with them, so I'm going to give them a go and get them in the ground. So these are the Lady Salisbury that I showed you the seed packet for inside, and I sowed these last November. Some of them have taken a little bit longer to pop up than others, but these will be ready to be planted out next month. These are a white sweet pea that I've not yet grown before because I think it's relatively new. Now they are in toilet paper rolls for two reasons. First of all, I like to use recycled materials in the garden, so I'm recycling here. This is an old mushroom container from the supermarkets, and these are toilet paper rolls. Plants like peas and sweet peas, they actually like a little bit more depth for their roots than other plants, and so sewing them into toilet paper rolls gives them that extra depth to grow down into. And I think if we look at this one over here, we'll see some roots coming out the bottom. You can see that. So next month I can plant this out directly into the garden, and the paper will decompose and break down in the soil. In my experience, the top rim that doesn't get as wet, you'll have to break that. Or you can leave it, I guess, if you want, but I always break it just to give it a little bit more space and help the roots to kind of break free. But other than that, it's a fantastic way to use up empty toilet paper rolls. I think I have enough of the Lady Salisbury sweet peas, so I'm just going to set these aside. But I'd like to have some colorful sweet peas as well. And sweet peas, if you haven't grown them before, they are one of the most deliciously scented cut flowers that you can grow. They're easy to grow, they look beautiful, they are a very traditional cottage garden flower. And you can't really get them in the shops as a cut flower because they don't have that longevity. They won't hold up really well once you cut them and then try to transport them. But they will last quite a long time, up to, you know, over a week in your own cut flower arrangements. Now this packet is already open. These are just toilet paper rolls that I've filled up with multi-purpose compost. And all I'm gonna do, it's just dead simple, is pop a seed, just a single seed, into each. So I'll just pop my finger into each, and the kind of the rule with sowing seeds, generally speaking, is that the seed should be planted 2 to 3 times the depth of how wide it is. So you can see that that's about, I don't know, don't ask me with measurements, but you can guesstimate it and just think 3 times that distance of how wide it is, it needs to go into the compost or the soil about that much, and then just cover it over. This compost is already pre-moistened, so I'm not going to water it afterwards. So I'm gonna pop that one in. One of the most important parts of sowing seeds is labeling them. I use these plastic plant markers and I recycle them. I use them from year to year. If you use a pencil, it will last through the season, but you can easily wipe it off with a rag or even your finger if need be. And that's as easy as pie, isn't it? So these will start to grow relatively soon. I'm not gonna put them outside, I'm just gonna keep them inside right now. They'll still germinate, so peas and sweet peas, they germinate at lower temperatures. Some seeds, they need a bit of warmth. These ones will do just fine out there, but I'm just gonna keep them in here just to keep an eye on them. Whew, let's get in here. If you like your greens, I would really recommend that you keep a container of them growing near your house. So it could be on a balcony, patio, your greenhouse like me, and you can see that this is just an old plastic tub, and I filled it with compost, and I've sown the seeds really thickly inside, and I use them as cut and come again. So I just come out and I pick what I need and then let them grow on and keep doing that, and they'll last a long time. These ones I started growing, I think, at the end of last summer, and they're still going. This one as well. This one is looking a little bit worse for wear, which is why it's time to sow another box of greens and get it on the go. If you like the look of this planter, I actually have a video showing how to make this out of pallet wood. And all I've done is created the trug planter, and that was several years ago, 4 years ago I think. And then I've lined it in plastic just to help with water and moisture retention because it is quite shallow. And this is just a multi-purpose compost inside, and I just ruffle it up with my fingers and scatter seeds on. So half of it I'm going to scatter with the Oriental mix that we saw already growing in the greenhouse. And I've got some in my hands here. I'm just literally just going to lightly scatter them on the surface here. And then the other half, I'm gonna try this. It's mixed leaves. Why not? Let's give it a go. Once the seeds are all scattered, I just ruffle my fingers over it again and press down. So these are really tiny seeds. They don't really need to go that deep. If you see any on the surface that didn't make their way down, just pop them down with your finger, just a little bit, and firm the soil over them. I think a lot of people that have just started gardening might think that seeds want a little bit of looser soil to grow in. It's actually better to press it down a bit because loose soil loses moisture quickly, and seeds and new plants that are just starting to germinate, they cannot dry out at all. So press that down and away we go. The last thing I'm going to sow is chamomile, and I have two types. So I have the Roman chamomile, so this is suitable for making into lawns. So it's very short growing chamomile. And then the German chamomile, which grows a bit taller and is not suitable for lawns. Now the German stuff, you tend to sow that directly into the garden, so from April onwards. But I'm gonna try growing some in a tray first and then transplanting it out, and I'm going to compare and see how it does against direct sown chamomile as well. Roman chamomile, it looks a bit, well, it looks exactly like this. So I've got some growing in pots here. It's very short. The leaves are really fragrant. It will flower as well. And it makes a good potted plant as well. If you want to have some in your window herb garden, get the Roman stuff. The German chamomile, forget it. It grows far too tall. Chamomile seeds are really tiny. So I've just sprinkled them on the surface of the compost here, and I'm just gonna use my fingers. You can use a tool, a board or something like that, just to firm them down. And we're not gonna cover them at all either. Now it takes 2 to 4 weeks for you to see seedlings, any signs of life. And these guys also need to be kept warm. So the seed packet actually says 20 degrees Celsius. So that's a good room temperature they need to be kept at. So if you can, keep them in a window like I'm about to do. And the windowsill that I'm going to be using is above a radiator. Be careful of that as well. So you can't let these dry out, but they need warmth, they need moisture, and then there'll be lots of little plants coming up very soon. It's the same story with the German chamomile. So if you're sowing directly into the garden, you've got to do it at a warmer period of spring, not too early, because they don't like cold, and they won't do anything if you put them out into cold soil. I sow a lot of plants first into trays and also modules, irregardless of whether or not it's recommended on the seed packets. And that's because I live on the Isle of Man and it's a little bit of an inclement climate here. And sometimes it takes a while for it to warm up in spring, and then by that time, if I try growing things outdoors or sowing direct outdoors, then they won't have enough time in the summer to mature. So it's always a safer bet for me to at least start some seeds off beforehand in the greenhouse or in the house, and then harden them off and plant them out. Otherwise, it could be a very unlucky summer, and I might not see them if I direct sow. So again, I'm just going to press them down. And I can see the seeds on the top of the compost. And I think the urge will be to cover them up, but they need light and they need to be on the surface for them to germinate. That'll do. Pop the plant label in there. And that's my sowing done for the day. Dirty fingers. It's the start of a season. My fingernails are always painted, you might notice, because there's usually always a little bit of dirt underneath my fingernails. Can't do anything about that as a gardener. So these are the first seeds that I've sown this year, and there's going to be a heck of a lot more, as you can tell from the amount of seeds that I have in my bin. And from here on throughout the summer, I'll be continuously sowing seeds and going through seed packets and moving them back in my bin so that I know that I can sow them again. And yeah, this is the start of the gardening year. So tomorrow I'm going to be going to the seed swap. I'm going to be getting some footage and I'll be sharing that on YouTube next week. But I do have a video, a short video that I took from a previous year, so definitely check that out. Oh, hi Chibis. She wants to come in at the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions about what you've seen, do leave them as a comment for me down below. Give me a thumbs up as well. Let me know that you like this video. And I will see you next week here on the Lovely Greens YouTube channel with some more gardening adventures. And we'll probably see a few people as well that from the community that may have featured in the last seed swap, because we've got a lot of the same people coming from year to year. Thanks so much, and I will see you in a week's time.